Alright, y'all. So I'm doing a video today on a few different topics just to show that the theory of Tartaria is so fascinating. The idea that we have a hidden history that's been erased that we don't talk about. And I know there are a lot of people out there that do not believe in Tartaria. They hear these stories and they're just like, people are crazy. And while I understand that, I usually look into these things just to go in and debunk it. And I can't on this. I'm looking at all this technology, electricity taken from air drives automobile. And the further I dug trying to make sense of where this theory came from and why people thought this, it just made me believe even more. And I'm not easy to convince. But at the same time, I'm fully aware that we've been lied to so many times in history with them absolutely knowing that they were lying, not misunderstandings. So, yes, I look into everything now and I trust my own eyes and I trust my intuition to guide me through history. And I run into these pictures of this electro bus. And the first thing, of course, that I thought, and many of you I'm sure, is this is an electric bus for its time. And I thought, how am I going to prove this? How do I find out? And then I kept scrolling and I found the next picture, which is in London. And it's a building that actually says it's an electro bus charging station. So a lot of these things like Tesla and all the stuff that we're seeing claiming to be new technology and people taking credit for things that they obviously did not invent. And we see this a lot this day and time. And the more I dig into it, the more I find laws. And of course, I'm not one of those to easily believe just anything that's thrown at me. And I usually try to prove that it's not true. And then if I can't, I look at it like it's worth digging further into. And that's pretty much what I've done with Tartaria and some of the things I've run across. And the further I get into it, the more fascinated that I am. And originally, this was not the video I was going to do today. I was really excited because the next video will be Nashville World Fair. But I got kind of distracted by these photos and thought, well, I'm going to do this video first. So, next video will be Nashville World Fair. Be sure to check it out. It's really fascinating as well. And this is a horseless sulky that runs on two wheels. I thought this was really neat. And my mother actually sent me some pictures that I need to pull up and show you guys of lawnmowers that had like a dome over the top and looked to have AC. So we're definitely not more advanced. And now let's talk about electricity. Now, I could have done a video just on electricity alone and made it even longer. So I'll do more of these videos in the future. But I just grouped all three topics together. What fascinates me is not just the technology for this time that shouldn't exist, but the fact that there's not wires strung all over these cities. We don't see power lines everywhere, but you can clearly tell they had sources of power that we don't talk about. And the only reason that we would want to hide this from every generation afterwards is if we were going to lie and take full responsibility that it was our technology to deceive people, to make them think that we are more advanced than our ancestors, which is an absolute lie. Our ancestors were brilliant. Even if you go way back in history, I can tell you, they lined up some of their things by astrology. They understood the world way better than we seem to today. I think a lot of people are waking up and opening their eyes and looking into things and using common sense. And we need to get back to that. Common sense tells us they are lying. But let's talk about all the fires. One of the best ways that you can cover up history is burn it to the ground. We see tons of world fairs that supposedly got put up. They blew this major budget to do so during times in history that it would not make sense to be spending that kind of money for a world fair and then just tearing it all down. And I've heard a lot of explanations on that, and I still can't really give a good reason as to why they did not use those buildings. But anyways, you can check out my other videos for that. But look at all these fires that I've listed that I've come across, and I'm sure there's more that fit in between these years as well. But this just gives an idea of how many huge fires were ablaze that destroyed so much of history. So we'll never know what all was here prior to this. And I can't help but wonder, with this many fires to this scale, if it was intentional to cover up this history. I also know a lot of people will ask the same question that I always ask. If you give me a good theory, the first thing I want to know is why would they do this? Well, when you're looking at erasing civilization, technology, all of these things that we're talking about, electricity, it gives you a chance to take credit for work that you never did, to become famous. It has a lot to do with money and power, just like anything else in history. Anytime I've looked into history and it comes to laws and things like that that mislead people, and this happens several times throughout history that we know of, it's always to take credit. It's always for power and money. And it also shows that we have quit evolving and creating in the way that we were supposed to. If this is how advanced that we used to be, imagine if this knowledge would have been given to us in the first place through generations so we could have added to it instead of just recreating. I see people all the time taking credit for things that obviously in history they did not invent. It's very sad to see this, and I just wanted to share this with you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time.